right, we're joined here by Timbers head coach Phil Neville. Phil, thanks for joining us and congrats on the win. Do you want to just start us off with thoughts on the match?
Do you want me to, or do you just want to fire away? Sure, call. I thought it was a brilliant night.
Yeah,
I
congratulations.
thought it was a brilliant game of football with two teams that wanted to play the football the right way, and I think at 2-1, I said to Dave that this could be 6-5, this could be 4-3, but I was actually really enjoying it. I told the team that I trusted them, and I told them that I would keep quiet. I told them that I would just sit down and enjoy their football, and I enjoyed their football. And there was two phases to the half. There was a 20-minute period in the first half that was sensational. And then there was a period in the second half where I'd say we were sloppy technically, we were sloppy in possession, where we had to really defend, and we did, and we got the win. Uh, I thought, did we deserve to win? I think it could have gone either way. I'm just pleased that it fell our way.
Congratulations, coach. This is a fantastic way to start the year compared to last year. So,
Yeah.
just nice to see some momentum going. And we spoke Wednesday. You said that you hadn't fully decided on your starting lineup. And so I kind of asked you to go through your thought process on deciding to let some of the new players start. Miller on the bench, just kind of walk us through your thought process on that.
Yeah, I mean, I lied on Wednesday because I knew my starting 11 on Wednesday. So, but I think what I thought was really important tonight was to give the new players their debuts at Providence Park, because I think it's important for them to sample what it's like to be a Portland Timbers player. And I think Cole. I've looked at Cole all pre-season, and he's probably like, we're in Coachella, and he's probably looked around and thought, like, really, what's this club all about? And I think he's experienced tonight what this club's all about, and I think that was really important for Bonnetig and for Brandon Bye as well. So I think that was my reasoning behind that. I just said to them at the end, I felt that the players that came on, Kamal, Ari, Smith, Zhao, and Kelsey, I actually felt they won us the game. I really did. I felt that they won us the game with uh, just with their attitude, with their energy, with their commitment, with their spirit. And I think we're going to need those five. Those five will play. Maybe they're frustrated tonight that they didn't, but this season's long, and they're all going to get opportunities because we've got a small squad. And I love the fact that we've got a small squad because everybody's pulling in the right direction. And tonight's just the start, and we're really pleased.
Phil, you talked this offseason about how Cole Bassett is going to be a different dynamic in the midfield than maybe a David Ayala was last year. In the first half, particularly the Anthony goal, his ability to drive with the ball and suck defenders in and then play the pass out wide. Just what did you make of his debut tonight?
I can't wait to see his running data, because I honestly felt after 30 minutes, I thought at half time he's gonna need something to get him off the field. He was running that much. The second half he was equally as good. I really believe he's a top player. I really did. I think his performance tonight was outstanding. I think he was probably our best player, probably. And he's a multifunctional midfield player. He's a throwback. People talk. I think modern day football, where people have saying now, oh, he's a 6 or he's an 8. I see him as a central midfield player. He can play 6, he can play 8, he can play 10. He's just a multifunctional central midfield player. He's a throwback to 10 years ago, when people just played central midfield and people weren't just like, oh, I'm just a holding midfield player. No, he's a central midfield player that can do every job that's asked of him. And so, tonight was a really good start for him. He's got a big game next week going back to his old club, and there's still more to come from him. Goals, assists, and giving the midfield some control.
Phil, I know Felipe at times last year had said it was sometimes frustrating kind of adjusting to his role with whether he was in the lineup or not. And for him tonight to come out and get that first goal for you guys, can you just talk about a little bit about how he's put himself in position kind of this year to still be a focal part of the team, and what that goal meant for you guys?
Yeah, I messed him around last season. In reflection, I messed him around. I probably didn't give him the I didn't give him the minutes that he deserved, probably, and you know, I probably pushed other players in front of him. Uh, he knows the value to this club. I think he probably had an off season where he probably doubted where his future lied. But I think from the end of season meeting, we automatically just took his option. There was never any thought in our mind that we were going to do anything other than wanting him in this football club. He played in a 10 role today, and I thought he did it outstandingly well. I think him and Gage. Uh, I think him and Gage are a partnership. Kelsey and Velda are a partnership. I think, and that's what we learnt in pre-season. And Kevin didn't get left out tonight because of his performances in pre-season. He just got left out because of the partnership that we feel is probably better at this moment in time with Gage. And so we're pleased for Pipe. Great to get his goal. And you know, when Pipe scores, he goes on a run of scoring goals. So we're looking forward to that.
Coach Phil, how you doing?
Good.
You know, I was going to ask you a question about 1 out of 10, but you took that away from me. So I want to ask you about Kelsey. And you just explained you know, what his role is and the partnership. I kind of want to ask you, what do you have, like, what's the conversation with him like, explaining to such a strong nine what he is coming into the field for before he comes in?
Yeah, I mean, he's 21 years of age. Me and Dave Vanderberg got him in yesterday, and uh, we believe in the kid. We really do. He won us the game in a way, because I think it would have been a penalty. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it felt like it was going to be a penalty. So I think he helped us win a game of football tonight. So that's a big plus for him. But the biggest plus was the work he was doing for the team. The body language, the attitude, the concentration, the discipline. If he does that, he's going to be a top striker. If he doesn't, he won't. And that's really what we've been communicating to him. And I firmly believe, and I know I taught my players up, but I firmly believe that boy's going to be a top striker, and he will be in the next 13 games. He will be massive for us.
All right, Coach. Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
During that first half, the team did a really good job of keeping Columbus contained in their own half and largely limiting Columbus's opportunities on the break. Just how was the game plan structured in terms of how you defend them off the ball?
We wanted to be aggressive. We wanted to be brave in terms of playing, and I think it works really well when, you know, that they turn us round to shoot towards the TA, and I think that really helped us in the first half. You could feel it was like a vacuum of, you know, and they're a team that like to play out from the back. And then when they start kicking it long, you know that you're doing something well. I thought we lost some of that momentum a lot in the second half. I think there was a lot of fatigue. I think if you notice, obviously there's a new pitch down, and it's got a little bit more sponge in it, and so there was a lot of cramping going on the pitch, and that's something that we're going to have to get used to. But the pitch played great as well. You know, it was fast, it was zippy, and we wanted to play in their half. We'd been working on that a lot in the pre-season, sustaining attacks, building pressure, building momentum. And I felt there was like 3 or 4 opportunities from crosses where we could have scored, but you look that James Pantemis made an incredible save at 1-0 when you know, I think he plucked it out the upper 90. So it was going to be a game that was going to be ebbs and flows, and it ebbed our way.
Profesor, felicidades. Todos
Gracias.
estamos contentos por ese triunfo.
Sí.
Su análisis del partido, ¿esperaba usted ese resultado? ¿Esperaba ganar este primer partido? ¿Qué te pareció?
Sí, mi análisis es muy fácil. Estamos un equipo donde en este momento creciendo mucho. Construimos un equipo nuevo. Me siento eso. Es un nuevo equipo con nuevos jugadores, con un actitud diferente. Pero esta noche solo es el principio. Es solo un partido. Hay muchos clubs en MLS ganaron esta noche. Cada partido es un reto, pero hoy es un paso más que donde yo quiero. Entonces, estoy feliz, pero tengo mucho trabajo. Tengo que trabajar más en la estructura. Y ojalá esta noche mis jugadores, tienes más confianza en el plan. El plan para mí es muy claro. Entonces, después una victoria, este plan tiene más confianza en este plan. Gracias.